show you sanding today, and it's quite a process. This is a sanding block, and they're in the cabinet over there. It's in a box labeled sanding block. And how you make it is you put a piece of tape down so it's sticking to the block, and then you're going to reverse it so it's sticky side up. And the reason you're doing that is because this is what's going to hold your metal onto this block while you're sanding. It's going to make it a lot easier for you. Notice I'm slightly overlapping the tape so it sticks to each other too. And you only need about 4 or 5 pieces. If I see this becoming mummified, you're going to get yelled at. Okay? There's only one layer. There's only like 4 in a row. You guys see? All right. Then the next step is you will need a V-block. You put it down on the V-block. You put your metal on top. This is going to hold it in place. When it comes to sanding, it's a process. You have to go with, you start with 220 grit, and then 320, then 400, and then 600. It's a very long process. So they're all in these little white baskets, and they're labeled. We're going to start with the 220. And when you sand in one direction only. Oops. Doesn't matter how you do it. It can be any way. But your goal is to get all the lines going the same way to get all the nicks and scratches out.
Oh, okay. What's the tape?
It's to hold the metal in place so it doesn't slide around.
Our tape off? This tape off?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so when you think you have all the scratches going one way, you come to this magnifying glass and you look under it.
Cassie?
And all the lines should be going the same way. If they're not going the same way, you got to go back and do more sanding, okay? But for the sake of demonstration, we're going to pretend all the lines are going the same way, which they're not. Then you move on to the next grit, which is 320, and you go the opposite way, one way. You get all the lines going the same way. You don't want to go back and forth, because what happens if you go back and forth is you get like this swirly, and all your lines aren't going the same way anymore. So make sure you're going the same direction. And then you check it. If the lines are all going the same way, which they're not, at this point they're not on this. But if they were, then you go on to the next one, and then you'd switch directions. You'd go the opposite way. And you keep going until you hit 600. You have to do both sides, front and back, and you have to do the edges too. How you guys organize it, it's up to you. The way I do it is I prefer to do all the edges first, 220, 320, 400, and 600. And then I do one side, 220, 320, 400, 600, and then I do the back side. And I go through the same. Some of you might want to just go with 220, do all the sides, the front and back, and then go to 320. That's entirely up to you how you do it. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Recorded by me.